I'd like to know your views on the mask mandate coming back this fall.
Is it coming back? Not here. It won't come back here.
And your thoughts, Pastor Steve, if you're going to fight it.
Oh, it won't be a fight. We're just not going to do it. This is it.
Oh, it's coming. You know, on our show, our podcast, which we're going to have something up here, so if you guys aren't subscribed, we'd love to have you do that. We talk about how they're going to try something for 2024 that will be similar to 2020. Well, why won't they just do a repeat? Just bring COVID back, baby. I know this sounds strange, but I actually hope they bring back the mask. Because I don't think that is going to resonate with most people. I really don't. I mean, I never went along with that crap ever, right? But just as another symbol, Aristotle famously said that tyrants want people to be unfamiliar with one another. They want people to be strangers. Masks are dehumanizing. And by the way, why do we need masks if the vaccine was 100% safe and effective? Like, I thought this vaccine was the greatest thing ever.
What? Okay, every study I've read said that none of that worked. Mask didn't work. Social distancing, we know with Fauci, was a joke. They just made up a number. And so, are the American people that dumb, or you think we're that smart now to say, we know it didn't work. Studies have proven it didn't work.
So, Steve, this is a really interesting question. What do the scriptures tell us about human nature? Do human beings want to be free? Yes. How about raise your hand if it's yes? Okay, raise your hand if it's no. Yeah, it's about 50-50. So let's take the Jewish people, the Hebrews. They see 10 miracles. The Red Sea is parted. They are delivered from serfdom. Within days, Steve. Days.
They wanted to go back.
No, it's worse than getting back. It's worse than that. They say, hold on a second. Who's this Moses guy? Who's this guy? And they start complaining. They're very good at complaining, the Hebrews, like the best. The entire Numbers 11 is just them complaining. So let's talk about Numbers 11, which, by the way, the actual title of the book of Numbers is In the Wilderness. It's not Numbers. So one of my life's goals is to get the book of Numbers named accurately, because it sounds like a math book, and I think Christians don't read it because of that. In the Wilderness, 11. It's true. The actual Hebrew is in the wilderness. They say this. You could fact check me in the original Hebrew. They say, we want to go back to Egypt, despite the fact it says that God blew quail off course and manna from heaven, and they needed or wanted for nothing. And they said, in Egypt, we had leeks, cucumbers, melons, and meat. And the best verse, I think, in the entire book of Numbers is they said, and it was all free. And you're like, wait, you were a slave. They said, well, we didn't have to pay for it. God delivered his people. They saw the most unbelievable things you could see. And here they are in the wilderness, needed or wanting for nothing, not having cucumbers, leeks, melons, and meat. And they say, we want to be slaves. I'll prove it to you further. Why? Why was it that God had to have the entire generation die off except Joshua before they were able to enter the land of Canaan? Because that generation did not want freedom. They didn't. Freedom is a value.
Come on.
If you do not teach it, people do not want it. I'll prove it to you even further. One of the most powerful interviews I've ever had is with Yeonmi Park, a North Korean dissident in America. And I said, Yeonmi, she grew up in North Korea, and she has an unbelievable window into the psychology of totalitarianism and the psychology of people. She said, do people want to be naturally free? Grew up in North Korea. She said, we don't have a word for it. She said, we don't think in totalitarian countries. Free, we just do what we're told. We obey. Now, once presented and once you have a memory of it, some people want to be free. But left to our own pattern, our own broken, sinful nature, we do not want to be free. We want to be taken care of. We're naturally lazy, Steve. We would rather go back to Egypt and have cucumbers, leeks, melons, and meat. Take us back to slavery instead of us living freely in the wilderness. That's what happens when you don't teach freedom as a value to your young people. So to answer your question, Steve, are the American people stupid when it comes to masks? They're not wise because they're not wise because they have no wisdom. But they're human. We haven't taught freedom as a value. We have half the country on government benefits. We have a country looking for nothing for something. They want somebody else to give it to them. We have a country that constantly wants somebody else to make their life easier. Why should we be shocked when all of a sudden the government tells them to go put a cloth mask on so it's going to make them safe? Which is what is so ironic about the whole thing. This is a group of people so afraid of death that they'll never actually live.
That's so good.